All right. Welcome to another TeleDynes live stream. Doing the week marathon every day this week, and then we'll do the longer one on Saturday. Um, and today, like I said, we're going to go over. As you can tell, I got the Strat on, just a short one today, but we're going to go over "That'll Be the Day," Buddy Holly and the Crickets. So this is one song where to really get the sound right, you need a capo. Now some of these chords are a little cramped, a little tight, because you got to play a B7. So you're up here on the 5th fret, right? And it's in A. And it starts off with this little riff here. And it goes to a 4. So that's just a kind of standard blues descending line. Now, and that's why you need the capo for those kinds of riffs, to have that open droning sound in this key. So obviously you could play it in a different key or something like that, but to get to play it in A and to play it like as close as I can to Buddy Holly, that's going to be what you're going to have to do. Now, one trick you can do is that to help yourself to get a little more room here, most of the time you want to put the capo right up against the fret that you're playing in. So you want to put it up against the 5th fret. But in this case, you can move it down a little bit and put it close to the 4th fret instead of the 5th fret. Now that, unless your guitar is set up with really low action and the neck is fairly straight, it's probably going to throw the guitar out of tune. And that's what I had to do. Just before I got on here, I tuned the guitar up so we're in A. Because you're pressing the strings down, it's going to make everything go sharp, and you're going to have to tune everything down a little bit. So, after that main riff, play that an E7 that we're playing, even though we're doing a B7 chord shape. You only have to play this partial chord. You don't need to really put your little finger up here on the 7th fret like that. So, and then we do the standard rock and roll thing. Just like you would play an A down here, we're just doing it up here. And we're in D. And to get that feel, it's good to, since the tempo is slow enough, you can do all downstrokes on the pick. It's a real shuffle kind of feel. As opposed to going down, up, down, up. Versus a different feel. Different, creates a slightly different groove. And then it goes to the A, so it's like 1 bar D, or 2 bars. Down to the A. One, 4, 5. So there is a 2 in here. So now that's the chorus, basically. Then we go to the verse. Again, it goes right to the 4. And then back and forth to the 4 and the end. 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1. And then these triplets on a B. You can play a 7th there if you want. Should be just major, though. It's like a big 2, right? So it's B. And back to the 4 again. And I like to kind of palm mute that too a little bit so you can get that staccato, really emphasize the shuffle. Then we go into the solo. The bulk of the rhythm is fairly simple. The solo is going to be based off of a pentatonic scale, and you're playing in the same way you would play off of an E minor pentatonic, you're playing up here. Right? Blues stuff. Let me go to a 5. D7. And it's back to the beginning riff there. So, but again, having that, it's a fairly simple solo. Most people know how to do it, and you're just kind of whatever you want to do there. Sorry, back down to the 1 A, and then that solo, and then that beginning riff again. 5, back to the 4. So that, again, it's really simple, basic blues stuff. You're kind of picking over the top of the chords there, the E7, the A7. And then back to the 4. And you need that capo to get that droning sound. So the only other trick is that if you remember, after the solo, it goes to the last verse. It does the famous, these quarter note triplets at the very end on the chorus. You make me cry, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back to the 4. And that's the whole tune, really. I just wanted to, do something simple one day and then something a little more complicated the next, and that's basically what I've been doing. So yesterday we went over more of a Western swing tune, which you can go and check out, and then today we're just doing some standard rockabilly stuff. So tomorrow I'll probably do something a little bit more obscure too, as a song called Sophronia B by Calvin Booz, and that's got a lot more going on there. And that one's an A flat too, so it's a little not the best key for guitar, but it's good to kind of break out and do something a little different. And then the end, of course, here at the end of that, I was trying to remember while I was talking how that end sounded, It's just the same descending line, except that instead of open strings, you're going, right? So it's that same riff that you do in the solo. So it's like a partial A7. So at the end, you're just descending that partial A7. That last one is open. The second string is open. So that's, again, you can get a little, it can get a little cramped in there. So to help you out, if you move, the Strat has, it's about the same, I guess. Just looking here. Now, the Strat usually has the frets are a little bit wider because the neck is longer scale than a Gretsch. But if you have a Gibson or a Gretsch or something like that, you're going to have, it's even be even more cramped. So what you can do is just slide that back. But like I said, it's probably going to throw the guitar out of tune. Unless the strings are pretty low and the setup's good. This guitar is not set up perfectly, so I had to tune it up before we started. So, oh, hey Joel, good to see you. You're welcome. Yeah, I haven't really played a Buddy Holly tune in a while. I used to play this tune all the time, and it was just kind of like racking my brain trying to remember all the little parts in there. But yeah, The thing to remember is there's a lot of little signature parts in the tune that if you don't do them, it's going to feel like it's missing something. And the solo is iconic, I think. So it's one of those things you don't really want to improvise. Um, some rockabilly tunes are fine. You can improvise, make stuff up. It doesn't really matter too much. Nobody really remembers the solo, but in a lot of the Buddy Holly stuff, um, is um, pretty signature, I think. And then that's really the whole structure of the tune. The key to this one is again capo, those little riffs, and doing the downstrokes to really get that feel. Because like I said, if I was playing down up, you're scraping the pick backwards, and you're getting more of that, the top string, the D string, as opposed to the A string. Slight difference. I mean, you can kind of make it work, but it's slow enough that it shouldn't fatigue the wrist too much. The main reason why you would want to go down up as opposed to downstrokes all the time is tempo, right? So if something is medium tempo like this, it's fine. You can do all downstrokes, and that also gives the shuffle feel versus more of a swing feel. It's almost the difference between dotted 8/16 versus quarter note triplet, eighth note triplet. So quarter note triplet, eighth note triplet would be sort of, right? And dotted 8/16 would be a little bit more exact or more a little quicker. The notes are closer together. So now I have this guitar with a capo on it, and I can't play anything else. So you can always play, obviously capos are great little tools if you need to play open chords, or there are certain songs that do need them. Completely different type of thing, but like, Here Comes the Sun, the Beatles, you kind of need capo on the 7th fret to do that. A lot of that stuff, the riffs are anything based on an open string type riff, you're probably going to need it. All right. I don't know where exactly he would have played the which pickup he played on, but probably used all three, I'm guessing. All right. Well, I'm gonna put this guitar down. So this is, like I said, this is like this setup on this is a little wonky. Oh yeah, Buddy 60 overdub recordings. Oh, I'll have to check those out. Let's bring this one. I haven't played this one in a while. Whoa, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I have it muted to save your ears. But it might be coming through the microphone a little bit. Yeah, the one thing about some of these, the longer scaled necks, I don't know if it's that or if it's the tuning pegs, but the Falcon or the Phoenix or whatever does not hold a tune over time. Like the other Gretches, all of them pretty much, all of my other guitars will hold tunes. They don't all have locking tuners or anything, so it's not that. It's just, and everything's been, I've gone through it and make sure, you know, all the tuning pegs are locked, but for whatever reason, I'll leave this sitting. And it will just go out of tune, especially the G. Cool. The action on this thing is really low, though. I should play it more often. I always say that every single time. I always play it, and I say, "Oh, I should play this more often." But the last time I brought it out to a gig, it was, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I played it for a set, and I just remember everything feeling really stiff and just hard to bend, and I don't know, it just wasn't working for me. And I went back to the trusty blue axe, and it was fine. So who knows? Every place is different. Every room you play is going to have a different characteristic to it. You're going to have some rooms that are really washy, other rooms are really dry. Same amp, same stuff, you know, same guitars. But I mean, typically carpet, if you play in some stages or have a lot of carpet on them, that's usually going to be pretty dead sounding. And then some places you play will have a tin roof over your head, and it's incredibly washy. But everything's going to have a slightly I mean, even the and if you play outside, which I don't really have too many shows this year, so at least right at the moment that I play outside, but a lot of the times in the summer I have a lot of gigs being on the East Coast here, where there's always a big tourist beach type scene, and there's plenty of outdoor gigs to be had. Depending on the weather, will change the sound. If it's overcast or fog starts rolling in towards the end of the night, it'll completely just, not only will it drench everything in mist and dew, which isn't great for your gear, but it just kind of deadens the sound of everything, and it just completely changes the vibe. And I'll play some places where the amp sounds big and full, and then other times it's just thin and nothing. All right. Well, I'm going to keep it short today because it is hot today up here in the Northeast. It's cracked, or if it hasn't yet, it's supposed to crack over 100, which is fairly unusual for Rhode Island in June. And this room turns into a hot box pretty quick. Sounds pretty good. I really like the fact that it sounds like it's got a nice round tone to it. Oh, the fireballs. Okay, I love the fireballs are great. They did that song, right? The Fireball. I wish I haven't learned how to play it yet, but something like that. I gotta go back and listen to it. It's been a while. Yeah, that's a cool. I haven't heard that stuff, but yeah, that's oh, what is that? And how do you say that? Torquay? Am I saying that wrong? That might be oh, it's a place. Oh, here we go. Torquay? Torquay? Is that how you say it? Um, that's it's a town in England, huh? I was just looking it up. Devon, southwest England, south of the county town of Exeter. Hey, we have an Exeter up here too. It is New England. But that's a I know is that a band too? I can't remember. It sounds familiar. Isn't it a band? It is a band, right? Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, of course. Just looking it up. I thought I can't remember if we did a song by them or I was just listening to stuff like that. We've done so many instrumentals over the years that I can't keep track of the names, because you don't when you sing the song, you you sing probably sing the title of one of the tunes in there and it's easier to remember everything. But if you just all the surf stuff, it's like you remember the band name and the name of the tune. It's yeah, it's probably just a one of those things I've been listening to on like a surf playlist. Cool. All right. Well, one more thing that's just before I get going. Um, one other little solo idea. I don't know if I've gone over this before. Probably. Who knows? When you kind of run out of ideas, or you're going around 3 or 4 times, or even throughout the night, you play a solo, and it's like, oh, here, take another solo, and you run out of, or you get bored with playing, little riffs and things like that. Whatever you're doing, um, you can always play chords as a solo. Fills in some space, creates a whole different big sound from the guitar, and the one couple of chord shapes here you can do is the 6/9. You can put the A on the bottom there. We're just an A, but it can be in any key. And that's just a fifth string, or fifth fret, sorry. A, E, B, F sharp. So looks like that. Similar to like a seventh, but you're raising that up. That third up, you're a B, right? So that's called an A6/9, and you're just putting the root down there. Great finishing chord, ending chord. And then you can go to a 4, and you can do these little chromatic things. So you can just, right? And the same thing with D. You can go up, you can play the D9 here. And that's a whole time around on a solo. And you can use the rhythm pickup. It fills in, it gets a little bit of a warmer tone to it and fills in a lot of space. And then you can also play a different inversion of that. You go to the especially when you go to the 4, you go up here, of course, to the 10th fret, to the D. You get the 5, you can go up here. Whatever you want to do. You can also play this 9 too. So if we're in an E7 or an E9, you got the D down here, there's your flat 7. Got your F sharp, there's your 9. G sharp, 3rd, and your root on the top. So the only thing that's missing is the 5th, but we don't need it. So, and you can do that, you know, I mean, if you got a Bigsby, I think the Bigsby sounds better when you're playing higher. So you can kind of hear that. It's there, but that's definitely more pronounced when you do it. But when you play up higher, so let's say we play a... You can really hear the Bigsby when you get up higher. And so you keep that in mind, you know, when you're playing with the... You play these chords that are lower in the register, use the Bigsby. It's great for a waiver and that sort of thing. But if you're trying to... It's not a... It kind of gets buried, especially when the drums are going and everything else. But when you get that high... You can do stuff like that. All right. Well... So, until tomorrow, we'll go over that Sophronia B, and then I'll try to think of something else for for the next day. And I'll actually have sheet music for that one, so we can put that up on screen at the same time, and we can look at the chords, and I can show you examples of different ways that you can play the chords. So there's always more than one way to do something. So we'll start off with a basic way to do it, and then we'll add some other inversions and voicings and stuff in there too. Alrighty, so until then, have a good one, everybody. Thank you for joining the live stream, and stay cool, and we'll see you next time.